John Wesley, a youth advocate and former House of Reps aspirant, joins us in the studio to analyse the impact of the gesture from the UK government. Okay, good to have you in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what makes you, what do you think would make the United Kingdom to spend almost £800,000, to promote Nigerian youths in the recently concluded general elections?
Well, it's the same reason why you want to ask a corporate brand, why you invest in so much in a particular project. You know, if I write a proposal to your firm and I say that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve, focusing on this and all of that, and then if the brand feels, okay, I think this is laudable for us to partner, or this is laudable for us to sponsor, then they go ahead. Just the same way the UK government granted aid to the Not Too Young to Run, that's the Yaga Africa. They pressed forward with something that the UK government is willing to align with. And so they also parted with certain amounts of money in supporting the initiative.
Okay, some analysts will say, you know, this is some form of invasion or interference into the Nigerian political space. What's your thought on this?
How did we come about our politics in the first place? If you are talking about invasion, I think that's too ambiguous. If you say invasion, these guys colonized us. These guys thought about when we say governance, when we say we are playing politics, when we talk about power, these guys handed over power to us. And so if some set of people are talking about invasion, I find it difficult to align with where that is coming from, based on £795,000 that is being used to support an initiative.
Okay, moving forward now, how would you assess the level of involvement of the youths, you know, regarding contesting for political offices in the last elections?
Based on the Not Too Young to Run bill that was passed into law, and thanks to the UK government, which supported the initiative of Yaga, a lot of young people were able to run for office. If it wasn't passed into law, I don't think I would run for office. In 2015, I declared to run for presidency. How old was I? I just declared because I wanted to send a signal to a set of people while advocating for the youth that, come, we can be a part of this. And so a lot of people said, how old is he? Why is he running for office? Does he even have the finance to run for office? You know, and all of that. But here we are. As at 2019, a whole lot of young people and myself could run for office just because we have the Not Too Young to Run bill in place. So it's a whole lot, and more will still happen. And that's why we have about 435 young candidates converged in Abuja under the platform of Yaga, you know, which means there were more, you know. But if you had 435 young people running for office because of a particular law that came to place, it shows a whole lot of progress.
Okay. Now, based on some of the things that you said, you know, some critics definitely feel that young people, you know, are not ready for leadership positions or not even ready to lead the country. Do you agree?
Well, to an extent, I agree, because a whole lot of young people are looking for quick money. And for some other set of people who are coming into politics, they're coming into politics for the money. Because I know a couple of guys who ran for office, and along the line they just, you know, stepped aside, having collected certain amount from the political leaders in their area. So with that, a lot of people will come to say that the youths are not ready to take over power. But for somebody like me and a couple of other young guys that I've met, that I've heard from, I must tell you that by 2023, it will be a very, very different story. As I speak with you now, at least out of about 435, we had close to 300 young candidates we emerged across board, 91 political parties here.
Okay, all right, moving forward now, in the last election, there was a coalition of, you know, young aspirants who failed in their attempt, you know, to take over leadership from the existing crop of politicians, you know, and leaders. What do you think, in your own personal opinion, what do you think went wrong?
Ideology. You know, we all have a different perspective. if I want to do something with you and I come here and I say, I want to do this with Plus TV Africa, one of the things that I must factor is what does Plus TV Africa aligns with? Do I also align with the vision and mission of Plus TV Africa? So what happened was the fact that there was no ideological alignment. So because there was no ideological alignment, there couldn't be a common ground for them to form a coalition and move forward.
Okay, based on some of the things that you said earlier, you once contested, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, so I want to, base that on your experience. That can you share briefly sort of the difficulty often faced by young aspirants in the course of the Nigerian political landscape?
Well, the major difficulty is funds. You know, as a young candidate, I do not have a godfather. I do not have somebody who will bankroll me to run for office. And I am not a bootlicker somewhere who will be hoping that somebody gives me 100 million, 300 million to run for office. And so, because my ideology may not want to align with the supposed godfather, it may be a major challenge for me. And so I have to struggle, you know, maybe fundraising, you know, donations from friends and people who believe in the vision. That's the way we run. And eventually, if the people feel that it is time for them to be liberated, it's a major factor. If the people feel that we are not yet ready for liberation, they will still go for stomach infrastructure. They will still collect money for them to vote, and so they still sell their future.
Okay, so in your opinion, what do you think should be the next phase of, you know, advocacy for the not too young to run movement?
Like I mentioned, one of the things that I will call on the Not Too Young to Run movement to look into now, because one of the areas they invested in was monitoring and observation of the elections. You know, and I want to believe that a whole lot of feedback must have been gathered on the field. And so it's time to have a round table with the Independent National Electoral Body, you know, so that we now have a discourse. These are the things that we observed. We are of the opinion that you have to review this, such that subsequently, as a young candidate and as a old political juggernaut, we can have a common ground to run for office. I don't have to be scared because I don't have money to run for office. I have to come on the same ground. I have to be rest assured that we will campaign. You may spend a lot of money to run your campaigns, no problem. I may not have the money to run my campaigns, no problem. But the point is, on the day of elections, let us be rest assured that it is the campaigns that we have made before the day of election that would, you know, get us into office, not the envelopes and the whatever thing that we will share on the day of voting. Yeah.
All right then, John Wesley, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.